I'm James Swanwick. Welcome to the Alcohol Free Lifestyle Podcast, where you learn to live a life of health, wealth, love, and happiness.
Hi, everyone. Tell me if any of the following statements apply to you. I have to stop drinking. I can't drink. I shouldn't drink. I need to stop drinking. Sound familiar? I get it. Welcome to the show. My name is Victoria English. I'm the head coach here at Alcohol Free Lifestyle and one of the co-hosts of this podcast, along with our founder, James Swanwick, and the amazing Sarah Connolly. So today we're going to talk about those statements and more. What I don't often hear is an unequivocal, I want to stop drinking. That causes a lot of internal conflict and mental gymnastics, doesn't it? For some reason, we have it in our head that we have to really, really want to stop drinking. Even as the consequences grow, even as the self-loathing increases, even as our relationships, physical health, mental health, continue to fray, unravel, break down. It's confusing. Think back to something that in your life that really, really didn't serve you, and you wanted out of it 100%. It's different with alcohol, isn't it? If you are waiting to get to a point where you are able to say with 100% certainty, I want to stop drinking, you might be waiting a while. There might be a lot of suffering between now and that moment, if it ever comes. It can make us feel crazy. We can make a list of all the things that alcohol is damaging. And yet, unlike other things in life, we don't want it. We don't want it. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm thinking about certain foods. Despite the consequences, we still want it on some level. We still want to drink. We just want the good parts without all the hassle, all the nonsense, all the hangovers, the blackouts, the conflict, the weight, the triglycerides, all the things. We want it all. And hey, we are in a world that perpetuates that message. You can have it all. So today, I'm going to talk about that. Being ready. Being ready to take a break. Maybe stop drinking. The word stop causes you to get the shivers. Don't worry about it. You don't have to use that word. Take a break. This episode will require some honesty. Honesty with yourself. You don't have to tell another person what truths you tell yourself during this episode. If you would like to tell me, you can. They call me Vic the Vault. But of course, ethically, I do not share information that I receive. So you can message me if you want on Instagram. Tell me what realizations you've come to. What is my handle? My handle is at Victoria English 1111. Let me know what you come up with. Sometimes it helps to just say it to another person. Why, despite all the evidence of the damage alcohol is doing, would you not want to stop? Well, I speak from personal and professional experience. Here's a hunch that I have. A big reason why you don't want to completely stop is because alcohol still holds value. Alcohol still holds value. Maybe you have been in a bad relationship. Like bad. The kind that your friends are going, man, what are you doing? Get out of that. Why don't you leave? It makes sense. Why not? Why not just go? You want to go, don't you? Well, yeah. Sorta. Except you may still have some value. You may still perceive value in that relationship. That might come from financial security. That might come from avoiding yet another broken relationship. That might look like fear of being alone. That may be connected to wanting the, quote, ideal family. So it's kind of like that with alcohol. And in some ways, it's even worse. So there's a good chance that if you don't feel ready, it's because you still value that relationship with alcohol. Now, this is where it gets brutal. Why? What do you value about it? Take a moment. What do you still value in that relationship?
Hi, this is James Swanwick, and we're taking applications for our 90-day and 365-day stop drinking programs. Clients are mostly executives, entrepreneurs, and investors who have tried unsuccessfully and repeatedly to stop drinking, but remain stuck in a frustrating cycle of stop, start, stop, start. Our programs are not AA, which has a reported 7% success rate. Our programs are not rehab, which has a reported 6% success rate. Our 90-day and 1-year programs involve a safe, fun, virtual community of high achievers with a process that boasts a scientifically proven 98% success rate of clients reaching at least 90 consecutive days alcohol-free. That's according to the University of Washington. We use the latest neuroscience and personal development processes to help rewire clients' brains around alcohol and minimize its importance in their lives. We will show you how to powerfully socialize with friends, family, and colleagues, what to say and how to say it so people don't mistakenly think you're an alcoholic or have a problem, and how to eliminate the temptation of returning to constant drinking so you break the stop-start cycle. To ensure client success, Project 90 can only accept 24 new clients each month. Some of those happy clients include John Keltner from California, who said, "I've lost 10 pounds." Susie Vaughn, a real estate broker in Tennessee, who said, "I've generated 20% more leads." Jessica Gaines from Kentucky, who says, "I've now got joy, focus, presence, and clarity." And Joe Worley from Michigan, who says, "My wife has the real Joe back." If you're an executive, entrepreneur, investor, real estate professional, attorney, doctor, and you're sick of the stop-start cycle and the damaging effects alcohol has on your health, happiness, and family, and you're ready to regain confidence, become more present with your spouse and children, reduce stress, anxiety, and irritability, sleep better, increase focus and productivity, and feel better quickly, you're invited to apply to become one of our 24 monthly Project 90 clients. Applicants can apply for an introductory interview by visiting alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. There's also a link in this episode's show notes. That's alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. Application interviews are limited and are conducted on a first-come, first-served basis. Okay, let's get back to the show.
Now, here's a question, and it might feel like a stretch at this point if you are still in the cycle of drinking and you're not having coaching and accountability and community. You're not getting this education about alcohol. Is it possible? I know it feels like a stretch. Call me crazy here. But is it possible that the things that you value about alcohol could possibly be met in other ways? Other ways that are healthy, other ways that are not causing physical, emotional, mental, relational damage. You might not have an answer. And that's okay. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But maybe, perhaps you start with looking at the people who have been alcohol-free for a long time. It might be me, it might be Sarah, James, somebody else that you see on social media, or even someone that you know personally. Do you think they are going through life with completely unmet needs? Do you think they stopped drinking and had all these gaps in their life and just learned to live that way? No. I can tell you that if my life was miserable, chances are I would begin to think there was some value in alcohol, because you know what? Yep, it's hell, but at least for 30 minutes, I'll feel different. I'm being totally honest. And look, I've gone through this whole process. Remember, I was trying to stop for a real long time. So it does require honesty, but it also is an opportunity to just get curious. Is it possible that the value I see in alcohol could be found in other ways? It's a great big world, and you guys are intelligent individuals. If you're listening to this sort of podcast, this high-level podcast, you have a good brain, because we speak of pretty advanced stuff, right? Like lots of science, lots of emotional intelligence, stuff like that. So you're a smart person. I'm betting there's a chance that you could find ways to have those needs met, to replace the value that you think alcohol holds with something else. There's also the physical part. The addiction part, the physical addiction part. You know, some people in this space shy away from the word addiction. I don't. I used to hesitate to use it, if I'm honest. It sounded so serious, so final. Except if you are drinking more frequently, larger amounts than you know is appropriate, if you continue to drink despite the mounting negative outcomes, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it is not unlikely that you are on the spectrum of alcohol use disorder. It's a really broad spectrum. And acknowledging that and becoming aware of it might feel sort of yucky at first, but it's empowering. I'm going to talk more about that in a moment. But yeah, sitting with that might feel tough. But on the other side of it is something really awesome. Or something worse than where you are now. Because, as I mentioned, the word spectrum, that's exactly what it is. These poor folks who wake up in the morning and drink alcohol. The people who will face life-threatening withdrawal symptoms if they quit cold turkey. They weren't always that way. And if you think it won't happen to you, look back on your drinking last year, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Do you drink the same amount? Has it changed? Are you hiding it more? Are you lying more? Exactly. Chances are the answer is yes. And so, again, there's no shame in it. It's just the drug doing what the drug does. The same way someone tries cocaine and they don't go from trying one bump to draining their savings and becoming buddies with their drug dealer and keeping it in their bag when they're at, I don't know, wherever, kids' game or a sporting event or going to the theater. That doesn't happen overnight, except no one's surprised, are they? No one's surprised when that happens with cocaine. It's like, well, yeah, duh. You started using it and then you became addicted and then it kind of took over your whole life. It's the conditioning that, because those bottles say drink responsibly, that when we develop an issue, somehow it's our fault. We didn't want to end up this way, but here we are. And so it is your responsibility. So how do you get ready? How do you get ready? Does it have to be black and white, where you are just on your knees, throwing your arms up in utter surrender, saying, I want this, I want this, I want this? I mean, it's okay. There's nothing bad about that. But what if you're going through what I just described? It's normal. It's actually more common than you think. Some people, but few people come into Project 90 just stoked and ready to go and so excited that their drinking got to a point where they had to invest their resources to stop it. It's all normal. They go through some grieving. I call it the space between, leaving parts of your life behind that no longer serve you and not quite sure what comes after. It's the space between. That's why coaching community is so important. It's not just something we made up. It's real. And so, how do you get ready? Well, here's an idea. You guys know that I'm fascinated by the science, right? I love the science of alcohol, the science of addiction, the neurotransmitters. It is so interesting. And man, did I find that empowering, because I also learned about neuroplasticity. And so I invite you to become a scientist. Put on your lab coat. Collect data. I'm serious about this. I would love it if you would do this. And I would also love it, like I said, if you'll share it with me. Send me a message. I'd love to hear what you come up with. And so, what if you became like a scientist and you removed the emotion? If you stopped making it so personal, like, oh, I'm such a loser. No, don't hang out in loser land. Observe. Observe and take notes and collect data. Take notes on your drinking experience, the whole thing. Because when we're in the cycle of drinking, our brain is going to take us to the good times. It's like this. You go out and you drink, and you wake up in the morning yet again, hungover, full of shame, self-loathing, beating yourself up. At that moment, alcohol has no value to you. Chances are you're thinking about the things that you do value. Oh, I really value my relationships. I really value my job. I really value my fitness. I really value being a good role model. Right? Sound familiar? Here's the thing though, and why alcohol is different. Because as the day goes on, we forget. We forget that morning sentiment of alcohol holds no value. And over the course of the day, and this is what blows people away, like I was so committed this morning, and here it is 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and I'm drinking. Because you forget. And instead, you start to value things that are good reasons to drink. My kids drive me crazy. I don't really love my job. Traffic was horrible. So-and-so said and did this to me. The economy's terrible. I hate the election process. Whatever it is, right? You start to think about those things. Those things are valuable. And so you end up in that vicious cycle yet again, waking up the next morning yet again, not valuing it, and then, holy cow, here we go again. It's okay. Again, I invite you to be aware. And so, collect data on your full drinking experience from start to finish. Do your best to stay in science mode. So, if you have ever read JAMA articles, even NIH, any kind of research, there's not a lot of emotion in there, right? The scientists are not getting emotional, like, oh man, I thought it was going to turn out this way. I was so pissed off that it didn't, darn it, I thought the mice were going to do this and they did that. No, they're scientists. So they are simply observing. I invite you to do the same. So when you're doing this, don't go into loser land. Don't beat yourself up. You don't need to be your own Rocky Balboa. Just observe, collect that data. And then, after you've done it a few times, look at it. What's the trajectory? Can looking at the data help you be more ready? Well, I think it can. Because data indicates trends, trajectories. It's helpful in anticipating outcomes. So like I said, if you are drinking more than you used to, and you look at this data, put in your science hat and look at the trend. And then just ask yourself, am I ready enough? Am I ready enough? Am I ready enough to just see what's on the other side? Because I'm looking at this data and it doesn't look like a good trend. In fact, it's kind of scary. So, am I ready enough? I hope you don't get to such a point of desperation that you are 100% ready. That's a tough place to be. That's a really deep hole to climb out of. I've seen people, and it's hard. And I got out probably close to the nick of time because the trend was not looking good for me. And at some point I had to get out of my own way and stop lying to myself and just get honest and look at the data. In fact, I have in my folder a quote that I wrote as I was going through my first year. All data indicates that I cannot drink like a normal person. Remove emotion, look at data, choose. I have that at arm's length. That was one of my most honest moments, but I did choose. I said, what the heck? I'm going to at least see what's on the other side. If you come to the conclusion that you are ready enough, take action. Because alcohol is going to do its thing. It's going to tell you in a few days that you're fine. It's going to tell you that you can do this on your own. If you could, you would have. It's going to tell you your drinking's not that bad and invite you to compare your situation to someone else's. Alcohol has a pretty small playbook, to be honest. And we all seem to have the same plays being done on us. So I know what I'm talking about because I've coached hundreds of people, but because I lived it. Take action. Like ASAP. When you have that moment, take action. You have all the information you need. So if today has helped you and you're ready, you're like, man, that totally resonates, take action. You guys know you can book a free discovery call with us. Coaching, community, accountability. That's our magic formula. And it works really well. So have a chat. At least you'll have more information to add to your data collecting. Or maybe dive in with us. Take that trust fall. We are extremely trustworthy. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. A day of self-discovery, a day of curiosity, a day that is one day closer to releasing alcohol. Take good care.
Thank you so much for listening. For more content like this, you can check out our YouTube channel at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/YouTube. You can follow me and send me a direct message on Instagram and TikTok at James Swanwick. And you can see the results of our scientific study at alcoholfreelifestyle.com/study. If you'd like to apply to become a Stop Drinking client, you can visit alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90. I wrote a book called The 30-Day No Alcohol Challenge, which you can find on Amazon. And you can always email me directly directly at james@alcoholfreelifestyle.com. If you're a regular listener of the show, would you please do me a big favor and give the show a rating and a review? It helps us get more listeners, and you'll be potentially helping someone else out there who's struggling with alcohol to find us, to listen to us and get support. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you on the next one.